Hi, my name is Tim and I'm a writing specialist in the Learning Center at East Central College, and this video is geared toward East Central College students who want to know how to set up the cover page of an APA paper, an APA style paper. So we're going to go through the elements of setting up this page in Microsoft Word. So I'm going to show you first what this looks like. So this is from the APA style blog, or the APA style website, and the page that's kind of set back a little bit here is our cover page. So you'll notice that it has 4 elements on it. It has a running head, which is the shortened title of the paper as well as the page number. Then we've got the title and author information, which are second and third elements. The author information includes both the author name and the institutional affiliation of the author. And then the fourth thing is the author note. If you're an East Central College student, it's not likely that your instructor is going to ask you to include an author note. You can always check with your instructor just to make sure if you're kind of worried about it. It's not common. The most common use of the author note is to explain who funded the research that was done that's being presented in the paper. And then if we could see the whole one beneath this, which you can't, but if we could, you can see it says correspondence. So that's a place that you could send correspondence to the author of this paper. So East Central College students, your instructor is not likely to ask you to do that. So we're not going to look at doing the author note. We're just going to do the other stuff. And the other stuff for most students is plenty. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to double click kind of anywhere up here at the very top of the page. Double clicking gets me these header options. Before I start to type anything at all, I'm going to go to home because I have to make sure of something very important. My version of Microsoft Word I have set to Cambria because that's my favorite font. So I don't want to use that right now because I prefer to just teach students to use Times New Roman 12-point font. If you're a stickler, the actual APA rule is something like you have to use a serif font that is 12-point, and I think it may say that it's clear and readable. So you do have some leeway in the choice of fonts. But honestly, like if you just stick with Times New Roman, that's the best idea. So I've got my font changed, and I've got to make sure that that's true up here as well as in the work that we do below. So I'll probably have to change it when I come back out of the header. I'll show you how to do that. So the next thing I need to do now, I'm all ready to put in that running head, so I need to put in page numbers first. So I am going to hit Insert. And actually, I'm going to change what I'm doing. I'm going to go over here to Header Footer Tools. We could get there this way because we could use this page number button here. But if you changed your font first, I'll show you 2 ways to get in. So one way is to do Insert and then Page Number. The other way you can do it is to go to this Header Footer Tools tab and then hit Design to pull up this Design ribbon. And the first thing we're going to do is click Different First Page because our first page in AP format is going to look different in terms of the header than every other page. Then we're going to come over here, Page Number. Oh, and I should say, always do the different first page first. That way you don't have any confusion later on. If you do the header and then you go in and you hit different first page, it may not change it. So I go over here to page number. I want to do top of page, plain number 3. That puts my number all the way at the end. One of the ways that I know I'm using a serif font is if you look at the one that's got the little flag on the very top and then the bar on the bottom. That's one way to tell you're using a serif font is they have kind of those, we might call them unnecessary marks, but those little pointy flags and things like that on. So I want now to start my running head, so I'm going to type the words running head, and this is not a mistake. I type these actual words with a colon, and then I'm going to put in the title of my paper. I'm not very inventive, so I'm just going to call this Title of APA Style Paper. I know it's really boring. And the rule for the running head is that it has to be a shortened version of the title of the paper. And by shortened, AP means 50 characters. So not 50 words, not 50 letters, but 50 characters. So if I had a colon in there or a comma in there, that would count toward the characters, and I can only have 50 of them. So it is okay to shorten the title when in fact, you should shorten the title if you have more than 50 characters to fit it into the running head. So I want to move the running head so that it's all the way over to the left, and I'm going to do this by hitting Tab 2 times. And I guess you could have your tab set up differently. If you did, you just want to get it moved over to that side, and tabbing is the easiest way to do that. Okay, so that's my header. We're all set up with the header with a running head, and you know what? It changed it back. Changed it back to Cambrian. I thought that was happening as I typed it, so let's fix that. I don't know why it did that, but let's fix it. So we're going to go up here again to the font. We're going to pick Times New Roman and 12 point, which is the way I want it. So once I'm done editing my header, I can just double click anywhere below that first page header and the dashed line there, and that will take me out of my header options. Okay, so now the next step. Next step is to get in the title and the author information. And you'll notice from our example page here that we want that stuff to be slightly above the center vertically and horizontally centered. So slightly above the center vertically and horizontally centered. And I'm just going to do this by eye. So we're going to type out the title. And the title is title cased. And what that means is that the essential words are uppercase. The first word is always uppercase. And really the easiest way to do this without being too picky about the title is that any word other than an article like the or a preposition is capitalized. So that's why my of is lowercase. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to type my author information. So I'm going to say I'm Franklin Falcon. And then I'm going to type my institutional affiliation, which is East Central College. And you'll notice I got trapped here a little bit. I didn't do some stuff that I should have done at the very beginning, and that's okay. I'm going to show you how to fix that in case this happens to you. I'm still fighting with this Cambria font, so I'm going to come up here highlighting what I have, and I'm going to change that to Times New Roman, and I'm going to change it to 12 point. And then I'm going to hit this center button up here to center all of that. And I got to make one more change, and it's kind of an important change. Everything in APA style is double spaced, just like MLA format and really most formats. So I'm going to come over here to where these little up, down blue arrows are, and then the lines next to them. I'm going to click that. It's in paragraph options. And I'm going to change that to 2.0, which double spaces everything that's highlighted. Okay, now I can center this stuff. It's centered in the middle of the page. I'm going to center it vertically. So I'm going to go down just a little bit, and then what I like to do is come out here and click this minus sign to kind of pull the page out a little bit so that I can see the whole thing. And that's pretty close, so we're going to go with that. So if I went down one more, that might work. If I went up one more, that looks closer to the example that they have here. They're quite a bit above the center of the page. So somewhere in there looks fine to me. Now if I was going to put in an author note, I would put it down a couple spaces, but as I said, we're not going to worry about that. What we are going to worry about real quick though is the header. I want to show you when you go to the next page what's going to happen, which is nothing is going to happen. Don't let that scare you. It's not. Let's zoom in here so we can see the whole page. Don't let that scare you because we did the different first page. So when we come over to this page, we've got to create a new header for this page, and we only need to do it once. The header that we create from here is going to be on every page that follows. So we're going to go do the same thing. We're going to double click near the top of the page. We're going to say page number, top of page, plain number. We're going to type the title of the paper. Now notice that this time we are not typing the words running head because we don't need the words running head. That is why we did the different first page. The first page does need the words running head. Every page after that doesn't need them. And then I'm going to hit tab twice just like I did before. And I'm still fighting that APA format. I'm still fighting that Cambria font. So let's select everything up here. And let's change that. And this is common. Your copy of Word probably isn't set to use Times New Roman by default. So I wanted to show you that because that's a skill that you're going to need to use. So I've got APA style paper. I can actually hit the backspace key to get rid of the extra space there if I want to, but I don't think it really matters to the format of the paper. So there we go. We're ready to write. We've got our running head in there on the first and second page using the different first page option. And then we've entered all of our title, our author information, and everything is there. I hope that this helps you set up a page in APA style format. If it doesn't, or if you have any other questions, you can always come up to the Learning Center and ask one of the writing specialists up here. We're on the first floor of Besher Hall, right next to the library. Thanks, and keep writing.